Hey, Hope City, it is 7 o'clock, time for our 7 at 7. And just a little bit of hope and encouragement for you every night, 7 days a week. So today we got to see a great example of the forgiving power of God, the resurrecting power of God, the life-giving power of God through baptism. We baptized a gentleman named Christopher Miley, and it was fantastic. And you could tell it meant something to him, it meant something to me, and I believe it means something for our church, that we see and witness someone dying to themselves and being raised with Christ. That is an important message that if you haven't been baptized, I would strongly suggest getting baptized to show it's an outward work or an outward example or display of an inward work. What's happened on the inside when you got born again, let's now act out. Let's now make it happen on the outside through baptism. And you can read Romans 6, 1 through 14 is really a great scriptures to read. Also, I read this morning from Colossians 2, 11 through 15. But I'm going to read tonight a little bit from the Mirror Bible about this and about the way God sees us. He sees us holy, blameless, and above reproach, without a single fault, as another translation says. So let's look at the Mirror Bible, and I'm going to start the end of verse 21 says, "Yet he has now fully reconciled and restored you to your original design." Man, that's good news. That's nearly too good to be true, but it is true. He has restored us back to our original design. And how did he do this? He accomplished this in dying our death in a human body. So God died our death in a human body. He fully represented us in order to fully present us again in blameless innocence, face to face with God, with no sense of guilt, suspicion, regret, or accusation. All charges against us are officially canceled. I'm telling you what, if you had a chance of going to prison and you were in court and the judge said, "Hey, FYI, all charges against you have been canceled. You have just been set free to go about your life, to walk in freedom." That's what God did through Jesus. God, it says in the NLT, it says it pleased God to be in Jesus. In fact, let me just find that in our handout here. Let me see if I have it. No, that was in my notes. So anyway, but I've got those too, so just one second. Look at me. Here we go. Yeah. Colossians 1:19 said, "For God in all his fullness was pleased to live in Christ." God in all his fullness is pleased to live in you. God is pleased to live in you. I mean, you just need to confess that. You need to thank him for it. You need to thank him that you are the perfect place for him to live in. And just be excited about that because it's true. So let's keep reading here. All charges against us are officially canceled. So how do we continue to believe that? What do we do to continue believing that truth? In verse 23, it says, "Remain under the influence of what your faith knows to be true about you." Your faith, the faith from God, who he gave it to you, knows what is true about you, that you have been set free, you've been redeemed, all charges against you are canceled, you have been brought back into perfect relationship with him according to your original design. It says, "Remain under the influence of what your faith knows to be true about you, firmly consolidated in the foundation of your belief, so that nothing can distract you from the expectation of the gospel, a hope that is consistent with what you have heard." And he's talking about what he has preached to them, what they heard from him, the gospel that Paul preached that was nearly too good to be true news, but it is true. That news is what Paul preached. He said, "Just as I, Paul, am in the ministry to proclaim the one and only message that rings true with resonance in all creation under heaven." And this is why it goes down and oh man, there's so much stuff. But in us, in verse 27, he says, within us, God is delighted to exhibit the priceless treasure of his glorious unveiling of Christ indwelling, in order that every person on the planet, whoever they are, may now come to the greatest discovery of all time and recognize Christ in them as in a mirror. He is the desire of the nations and completes their every expectation. See, Jesus has reconciled the world back to himself. It's up to us who have the blinders taken off, who've had the scales fall off our eyes, who understand who we are in him, to announce that to people, because people don't think that's true. They don't understand that. They think God's still mad at them, that their sin has separated them, and all these things. So they don't understand that they've been forgiven. And whenever it talks about how God looks at us, that Jesus presents us as holy, blameless, and above reproach, it's like he's looking at us like we're that, like a baby, an innocent baby. When you lay them down in the crib and they're just sitting there looking at you and you're looking down at them, and it's like, this is amazing. They are so just, they're just perfect. You're thinking of your kids and you're looking at them. And when I was down here, I was looking over and I actually have this picture. And it's of Emily when she was just a little kid looking down into the crib of Ryan when he was a baby. Hopefully you can see this good. But I got my lights here and everything. But look at that. I mean, the way she's looking at him and he's just laying there. He doesn't know what's going on. But she's looking at him with love. She's looking at him as he's innocent, blameless, without a single fault. He's just innocently laying there, looking up at her as she's looking down with 100% love. That's how God is looking at us right now. He's looking at you with love. You are his child. You are his kids. He is in love with you. There's nothing you could do that can make him not love you, because he's already expressed that love through Jesus dying on the cross for us. So you've been forgiven no matter what. If you haven't heard this morning's message, go back and listen to it on YouTube or Facebook or our website or our new Hope City Church app. Download that at the App Store, Hope City Church-Evansville. You'll find it easily. Download it, listen to the message, and you know what? Just stay in touch and stay connected with us. Join a small group. Get on our website and find a small groups this week and join in with the small groups. There's a lot of different ones. And if you have your handout from this morning, or you can go on our Facebook and download it, but they are all on the back of our handout. So God bless you. Thank you for joining me. Love you all. Have a great night. And remember, you are forgiven. So live like you're forgiven. Don't let guilt, shame, and condemnation hold you back. You've been presented to God as holy, blameless, and above reproach. Bye-bye.